Hello and welcome back to the SuperTuxPodcast. This is episode 3 and I'm back with Chocolate Shake as usual. How are you doing today?
Just having a little bit of a struggle, but you know what? We're doing okay. We're doing all right because, we're back on the podcast. That's what matters. We got all our lovely listeners out there, and then, good conversation as always. How are you doing?
I'm living the dream. I got a haircut and my mom is kind of a passenger seat driver, but that's okay. We don't need to talk about that. Moms are protective because they love you. Remember that. Yeah. So, what are we going to talk about today? Any ideas?
Well, today is February 1st, as of the time of this recording, and hopefully upload, and if the internet acts right. And nice. It's the start of Black History Month. So
woo!
That's
shortest month.
Yes. Usually 28 days, unless it's a leap year, then 29. And I don't know. I guess now is a good time to, really reflect on some inspirational people. Absolutely. And inspirational things, especially since Kobe Bryant just passed away not too long ago.
That really is a shame.
Right. Now, do you have much of a history of watching or following Kobe Bryant, anything like that?
Well, not really, because I never watched sports much as a kid because my parents didn't really care about sports, so they didn't turn it on, so I didn't see it. But Kobe definitely was a really good guy. And, I listened to a few days after he died, I went on YouTube and looked up inspirational speeches or, just inspirational things. And the first thing that came up was a speech by Kobe, or a kind of a podcast that Kobe was on. And he talked about what motivates him and what makes him happiest. And he said he was always happiest with his family, which that really spoke to me because it's what's most important in life? It's not your career, it's the people that you surround yourself with. And I truly believe that, so I try to live my life like that.
Right.
And I think it's very important.
Yeah, that is good. And then, just a lot of the things, how he was very appreciative of his fan base, and he was always going on about how basically he couldn't have been where he was at without his fans and all the people that supported him and helped him get to where he's at. And that's always a really awesome thing that he was able to look back like that.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's just so important. I can't even express how important it is to value the people value people in general, because people are the most important part. We wouldn't have all these big corporations. Disney wouldn't exist without people, without the fans. The fans make Disney the big company they are. So, Disney's big corporate people should be very thankful for their fans. Yeah. And they aren't always.
Right.
It really is a shame.
And we know definitely in the gaming industry that's turning out to be a thing.
Yeah, definitely. That too.
Yeah. But, not even just that, but people like LeBron James, how he's giving back to the community, basically, because, we reap the benefits of that since we live in Akron. So, yeah. It's just really great to see, stuff like that. And do you have any inspirational people that you really look up to, whether historical or not today?
Yeah, well, I told you about him, but we haven't talked about it on the podcast. His name was Michael, and he was from England, actually. He had a YouTube channel called The Random Toon Show, and he played Toontown a lot, which was a game I played a lot as a kid. And he made really entertaining content on that. He was just the funniest guy. He always made me happy whenever he uploaded. But unfortunately, he actually died in 2018 from heart failure, and he was only 22 years old, which that really hit me. I was like, wow, he was so young, and he meant so much to me. He felt like I lost a best friend, honestly. Even though I never met him, it felt like I knew him for my whole life because he made such a big impact on me. And really, one of the big reasons I want to make this podcast and do things on the internet to try to entertain people is because of how entertaining he was, because he just lived his life to make people happy.
Right.
And that was just awesome.
Yeah, I know. That's almost like losing Etika. I think, was that last year or 2 years ago?
I don't know. Yeah. It's actually been longer than you think, I think. But yeah, Etika.
Yeah, losing him. That was really crazy. That was a whole shock to everybody. Right. The fact that, he just ended his life like that. It was really crazy to think. And I think, honestly, it's just now crazy, too, how the internet's just become so big to where we can't have people like that even though they might be talking about something that's not really technically an important issue, quote unquote. I say that in quotes, like, you know, like you said, Toontown.
Yeah.
Like, technically that's not a world-changing event
Right.
or anything, but, you know, the fact that people and their vibe, their personas, the things that they stand for and believe in, like how those can come through and their passions and how it can really just inspire people. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just, it's crazy because like I said, I mean, I didn't know him, but it felt like I did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the internet can do for people. You know, it connects us. We're connected by more than just wires. That was his famous quote. We're connected by more than just wires. I wrote it on a piece of paper. That's because that's my favorite quote. I love that quote. It means so much. We're connected by more than just wires. And I think that's so important to remember that when we're on the internet. You know, like, these are real people we're talking to, so I think we should be nice to everybody on the internet and not bully people.
All right.
Which, I'm not going to turn this into a cyberbullying thing, but, like, come on, guys. Let's just love each other.
Right. Well, even in, like, comment sections, like, how people just hop on each other's necks 24/7. It's like, okay, you know you probably would not have the confidence to say that in real life.
Right,
so.
exactly. It's like, would you say it to him in real life? Then you shouldn't say it in text.
Exactly. That's always a good philosophy to live
Yeah.
by, definitely. But even going back to Black History Month, I mean, for me, obviously, I have, you know, people like Martin Luther King and things that I look up to, especially in this month. And in fact, I even wrote an entire poem about that, basically. And I don't know. I guess I'd say about that is basically just, it's kind of almost the same principles that go into what we talked about earlier with people on the internet, how you can kind of just get their ideas and like their views and personas based on what they're passionate about and how they're presenting it. And I think that can help someone to really stand out and be inspirational. Like, what do you think makes a person inspirational?
I think it's how they live their life and what they live their life for, rather than just what they do. Obviously, what they do is important also, but how they do it is very important. Because, like, if you are a content creator, but you do it to make money, that's not as special as if you do it to entertain people, to make people happy. Mm-hmm. So I think you just the better creators do what they do to make people happy instead of just as a living.
Right, definitely would agree with that. Especially when it comes to, like you said, just stuff that they're super passionate about too. So whether that's an idea, a thing, I mean, even if it is surrounding a product that technically it's like, oh, this could be, and they could make money off of it still, but like you said, if they're not focused on just making the money and just actually getting in there and just really providing that quality, kind of like what we do here, because we're not making money.
We're not going to make money from this.
But,
obviously.
You know, we like to put our ideas out there and just share.
And we get to share our ideas.
Right.
And without the internet, nobody would ever hear these ideas, except for the people around us, maybe.
Right.
But, like, even we don't really talk about these ideas to just people in general. We talk about it with each other, and that's about it.
Right.
Into a microphone. And then people can hear it on the internet.
Exactly.
Which makes the internet a beautiful thing.
Exactly. Like that video that you sent me from, was that from him
That was from Michael. Yeah, Michael made that video.
Yeah, that was very...
That's a touching video. I'm going to link that in the description because I want as many people to know about that video as possible.
Yeah.
I would love if that thing went viral. That's my favorite video on YouTube.
It's so good.
So good.
So good. And also, speaking of really good inspirational videos, I saw this one, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something like that, to where it was, I can't even remember the name of the channel, but it was this video about, I think, was it Improvement Pill? It might have been. But anyways, it's like, you're not bored, you're not something, like, it's all these 3 things that people consider that they might be if they think that they're failing in life or something like that. But then he kind of breaks it down on how you kind of can fall into these traps and how it's really not that you are these things that you're thinking that you are, but that really you have so much potential and really you just need to learn how to reach your maximum.
Definitely.
By just taking things a step at a time. So instead of being like, oh, I want to go be, I don't know, I can't think of a good example. Oh, you know what? Since we play Smash, let's take that. I want to be a competitive Smasher. Yeah. So I'm not going to just say that and instantly just go to a big tournament. Like, first you're going to start by training and starting it like in the training room and things like that. Then you're going to take it online probably so you can play against more people.
Right.
Then play against more people actually.
Yeah.
Go to tournaments. Locals.
Start with locals. Never
right.
start with a major.
Exactly. And then keep playing those, get better and better. Then
right.
you go there, and that's how you kind of can really find success. And I think that that's what a lot of inspirational people understand, is that idea that your successes come from individual steps
right.
to the bigger goal versus just hopping straight into the big goal.
Yeah, I mean, nobody just starts at the top.
Right.
You know, everybody works their way up. That's how it is. That's just how it works. You know, That's how life is. You got to work your way up to the big things. So you got to start with the small things. You got to pay your dues down at the bottom. Then you can get to the top.
Right.
And I believe that you really need to work hard in most things to get to the top. I don't think, in America at least, it's handed to you very often. I mean, some things are handed to some people, which is a shame. But, like, most people have to work pretty hard to succeed a lot, you know. And that's good.
Right.
It shouldn't just be handed to you.
Exactly, because then you don't even feel the satisfaction that you got there and you know, put in the work for it. Because if it was just like, oh, I want to be the best at basketball, and then I did absolutely nothing, and I'm just an absolute savage, and LeBron James can't touch me, then
like what?
Then that's no fun.
Yeah, what's the fun in that?
Right, it's like One Punch Man. You know, he's bored because he can end a fight in one punch, so he doesn't do it.
Exactly.
Unless he's called upon, like, yeah. So
that's why I think Superman's kind of a boring superhero. He's too overpowered.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
He's so powerful. At least in, like, the new DC movies.
Right.
Superman's so powerful. It's like, okay, that's a boring hero. That's why I like Marvel better. Because Marvel heroes seem to have more flaws and actually, you know, struggle more. Obviously, like, Batman is very popular because he struggles more. And he's, like, one of those heroes that people can connect with more, like Spider-Man.
All right.
But, like, Superman, like I said, is just... He's perfect. It's like, there's nothing challenging for him.
All right, because they always, like, Marvel heroes always seem like that. They have a more human side to them, even if they're a complete alien like Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
I mean, he still has a human side to him.
Yeah.
And it's always relatable, because there was this one video from, like, it was a video essay about Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think it was, I don't know if you heard about, before Endgame came out, like, there was this thing, like, one Marvel scene to where all these different YouTubers that do video essays did a video essay on, like, their favorite scene from the MCU in general. And this one guy talked about from Guardians of the Galaxy, like, or was it from Volume 2? I can't remember. But he was talking about that and how he, I believe, was an immigrant or something like that. And then he came over to America and he was going through some hardships and stuff like that. And he was hanging out with his friends and they all went to go see that. And they all sat there and just broke down crying in the theater because they could relate so much to what was happening on screen.
Yeah.
And it's just really awesome. It just...
Yeah, that's definitely when something hits you that hard, like when a piece of media or whatever hits you that hard, it's very meaningful, and you're never going to forget something like that.
Right.
So I think that's very important that that kind of thing can happen, and that, you know, people creating movies make sure their movies impact people a lot.
Right. Because it can, like, change like your thought process, help you, like, feel like you're not alone, stuff like that. Like, have you ever had anything that ever hit you in a movie like that?
I don't know. I don't know about in a movie, but, like, obviously, like I said, with Michael's channel in general, all that hit me pretty hard, especially when in Welcome to the Internet, which is my favorite video, like I said. One of the lines is, the constant fear of one day they won't be here. And he's talking about, you know, your favorite creators. And I'm like, he's dead now. He's not here anymore. That was so true. Like, that really just showed how true that is, and you just got to value all that time. So that's really what hit me. I can't really think of any movie instances, but I probably have some. I just can't really think of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's still good, though, right there. Like, for me, I'd say in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, like, Miles' relationship with his dad, that hit me true. Like a dump truck, because that's almost exactly how I feel with my dad.
That's true.
To where it's like, he knows that, you know, there's, like, a spark and potential in me, but he kind of tries to force it out in one way that he thinks, but I kind of just want to do my own thing.
Definitely.
And,
I see that.
Right, and it's just... You know, that always really resonated with me, which is how one of the reasons, I mean, there's a plethora of reasons. We could sit here and I could literally talk about that movie for that movie's so good. Right, for like all day if I wanted to, but that especially, I feel like, is what helped it to become my favorite movie of all time now, is because I really felt like I could connect with that on a human level, and It was really crazy to see that from an animated movie of all things.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Especially, like, nowadays when they don't put that much effort into them, and they're just kind of...
Yeah, that cookie-cutter animated movies, there's so many like that. Spider-Verse was a breath of fresh air for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, but in Spider-Verse, that is a good example, because when Peter Parker, old Peter Parker, Peter B. Parker, that's it, not dead Peter Parker, but other Peter Parker, tells Miles, it's a leap of faith, Miles. That's all it is, like, or I don't know what he says, but something like that. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Sometimes you just gotta jump. You gotta take a chance, and even if no matter what you think the outcome could be, you can't always think it through all the way. You can't always be safe. You gotta leave your comfort zone in order to get things done.
Right, and that's the only way to grow.
Yeah.
Discomfort. Well, I think it's like comfortability and discomfort is the only way to grow, or something like that. Like, and that's a true statement, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. That was just. Yeah, I love that quote.
All right.
I say that to people sometimes, like, you just gotta jump.
Yeah, just take it. Just take
jump.
it. Leap of faith, man.
Yeah.
Leap of faith. And also, too, in Spider-Verse, I think another thing that really resonated with me is how they really understood the principle of the character of Spider-Man, that basically, like, the whole reason he was created anyways was so we could all relate to him, and the whole reason he wears a mask compared to, like, a lot of other of Marvel's heroes where they're already known, their secret identities are already known, is that it's supposed to be to where anyone can feel like they can fit into the costume. So it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, where you're from, what your background is, you can see yourself in the character. And the fact that they understood that and presented that, and that was like the main theme and message of the movie, I mean, that was just like, wow.
That was good.
It's like everybody in their own way, whether it is actually right or wrong, is trying to do what they think is right and trying to push whatever they feel like their beliefs are and things like that. But sometimes you just get knocked down, and the whole recurring thing, about just getting back up no matter what, that message is just like, it's so true, because you're gonna get knocked down, especially when you want to try to find success or whatever you think that is. Then you just gotta, keep fighting for it.
Resilience is so important, like, in everything. You can't just be discouraged by one failure.
Right.
I mean, if Albert Einstein was discouraged by one failure, he wouldn't have done whatever, I don't know exactly what he did, but I know he did great things. If he was discouraged by one failure in his experiments, he would not have done what he did.
Right.
And that's true with everybody who invents things and, like, makes new technology, makes new advances in music, like the Beatles. If they they didn't have, all their songs weren't hits. A lot of them were hits, but, like, all their songs weren't hits. So if they got discouraged by one of their songs not doing well and they just stopped making music, where would music be nowadays? Because so many bands are inspired by them and, like, influenced by them. So they made such a big impact because they didn't give up.
Right. And then even, like, with us, like, how you tried out for a DCI corps, even though didn't.
WGI.
Yeah, WGI. Right.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah, even though you didn't make it in, still you went for the shot.
I tried.
Right.
And I found out that specific group wasn't for me. But you learn from those things.
Exactly.
You just gotta try it.
Right, and you're still not stopping. You're still trying to shoot for the dream, for the goal.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's what's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, that was a pretty solid episode right there.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Pretty good. We
hope you're all thoroughly inspired.
Right, almost 20 minutes. That's not it's not terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, this is around. We make shorter episodes because, like, I know when I try to listen to an hour podcast, I'm like, all right, I'm sick of listening to this.
Yeah.
I have to go watch something else. So yeah, shorter episodes I feel are better.
Right.
So thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you when we decide to upload in 5 years.
Yep. That's how it works here.
All right. Have a good Black History Month, everybody.
Yes, sir. Whoop, whoop.